Hello, Mark Red Larson here for the Dreamcatcher podcast. Actually, I'm outside at Yanni Park in Kearney, Nebraska, which is amazing in November. I mean, it is so beautiful. I mean, so far this has been really an awesome fall. Yeah, the fact I'm outside, I don't have shorts on, but I'm outside. And got my podcast hat on here, so I'm ready for doing a podcast. Today, I'm solo, which I have not done that for a while, but I believe God did this basically did it on purpose. He wanted me to give you my reality of what I see in the United States, the world right now, and in my reality, and kind of brought it up with everybody in the election in the United States. And it was going to be Trump, or it was just Republican or Democrat, and there was going to be people on either side that were not happy, and like I was talking to a friend at the Y in Hastings, really it's irrelevant because God's in control of it all. And so, yeah, it's very interesting how people reacted to who lost and who won. And the thing is, when you let God take care of it, it's irrelevant. I mean, it was the most uh, peaceful election I've ever been through. I didn't care either way, and I still don't. And I got to this point with my reality of everything that my wife Cheryl and I've been through. It has been it's been a blessing actually. It's been tough. It's been humbling. Been a lot of things, but it is built strength because when you go, going through trials and tribulations is how you build strength. And God definitely has put Cheryl and I both through um, a lot. So we've built a lot of strength in the last year and a half. And I'm grateful for it because I'm not the person I was even close to. The stuff I go through now um, is something that I would have been traumatized by. It would have been, I wouldn't have been going through it as well as I am now because I give it to God. I mean, I take care of what God allows me to, but the rest I just give it to Him. And it's peaceful. And it's like I was telling this friend over there, it's like, there was stuff that happened after Cheryl and I got back from Italy. We went from Italy to basically having nothing, and it was like somebody flipped a switch, and and it was kind of strange because I've never in my life had that happen, but it was when eventually I started talking to God because God came to me on this podcast and He's like, I want you to make your podcast reach the people that churches are not because so many people are not hearing my word and what I stand for with churches anymore. So yeah, so he says I'm going to send people to you, opportunities, events, whatever that um, lead them to me through you. And I thought, okay, that's cool. And that's the first time God ever really talked to me. I mean, God was always over there. I mean, I believed in God my whole life, but never as the person, not entity, entity. I mean, person. He talks to me daily, but it's not like we're doing right here. And but it was like, okay, this is cool. I mean, I never thought I'd talk to God, and now I talk to him daily. He tells me today. He told me to come to Kearney rather than Hastings, and I haven't come to Kearney for a long time. But he told me because he put in my path um, people that were I need to either help move them forward in their life purpose, or will help Cheryl and I move us in our life purpose. And then he had me go to the Kearney Y rather than Hastings Y, just because I was supposed to meet this awesome guy at the pool. And yeah, and I think hopefully we'll go out for, oh, he doesn't drink coffee or tea, so a beverage. And I don't think he said he never touched alcohol either. Um, but yeah, God works in mysterious ways. And he has gotten me to a place where I'm pretty much peaceful all the time because I just do give it to God. And if it's doesn't turn out the way I hope, I'm satisfied. I'm comfortable with the way it turns out. Um, what way this thing turns out with Cheryl and I will be comfortable. If we do have to move, then I'm comfortable with that. I figure God has directed me. Since He directs me, He sometimes even tells me what clothes to put on, and places to go at what time. And you might think I'm crazy, but I'm not. I'm not crazy. I think Cheryl, my wife, thinks I'm crazy at times, but He does direct me, and he directed me actually to this park because I was going to do the library, but the library had really no room. And the one they did was a gigantic room, which would have had a lot of, wouldn't have been good sound quality for this. So, but I got to meet a really nice lady there. So everything's good. Everything is so good. And that's why I'm not concerned about who is president of the United States. God is in control of everything. And when God's in control, life is really good. And he keeps directing me to help people. And I like to do that anyway. And for somebody who never talked when they were younger, he has me talk a lot. And I know he's moving me towards more of that. My throat chakra has really become clear. So as anybody who watches my Facebook stuff and these podcasts, know that I like to put my opinions out, what's going on in the country. I just like to talk, and I want to help people because there are so many people struggling, and one thing that makes my heart hurt is we have so many people in this country that are homeless, and we do what we can do, what we know to do, is raise money for buying food, and then we give them food, which takes care of the problem for a very short amount of time. But in the long term, we don't really take care of the problem. And I believe God is directing me to do more towards that. In fact, I'm pretty sure he is. And he also has told me that he wants me to show people their gift that God has given each one of us, and bring it about into the world, because we all have a gift. Some of us don't see that, and I understand that. But I also understand that if God can do the other, he can have me be one of the people, many people that are out there showing people the way, showing them people their gift, how they can and do good things in the world too, and cause ripple. Anybody who knows me or has listened to me knows that ripple is very important to me, because one positive act can have a immense ripple throughout the world, and I truly do believe in ripple. Sometimes just a smile, opening a door, it's all good. It's all good. And sometimes you don't even realize the effect that you have when you do those things. So yeah, I am such a different person than I was even when we got home from Italy. I am a person who is peaceful and calm because I know God's got control of it, and whatever happens, I know He's got it. And it's surrender. And that's one thing when God told me, it's like, why did you take everything away from Cheryl? And he's like, well, you would not have been counting on me to provide. He said you would have kept on doing what you were doing, which most of us do, especially in the country where you grind, where you go work harder. And thing is, he can take all that away. Everybody thinks it's them doing it. And everything you have on this planet, on this earth, is from the grace of God. Everything, it belongs to him. And if you have monetary abundance, whatever you have is a gift to his children from you, from God. And and like he has told me, it's like if you're having to grind or any of those things, you're not doing the gift that I gave you, because when you're doing what I put you on this planet to do, he said you get in flow. It never seems like work. I mean, it is work, but it doesn't seem like it, because people ask me how, nothing I do feels like work. It's awesome. I'm in flow. I love what I do. I love doing these podcasts. I love talking to people, which me talking to people, I would have never guessed that when I was younger. But God can do awesome things. And I've also had people ask me to join their church. And God says, he says, I will tell you what I need you to do. And joining a church at this time is not the thing. And somebody said, do you read the Bible? And it's like, he said, I like that you know the basics. 10 Commandments, honor your, love your neighbor like yourself. Don't judge. And he said, the rest I'll put people in your path that the stuff I need you to know. He did put up had an app put in my way, that because reading for some reason has become very difficult for me. For somebody who got 2 degrees in 4.5 years in college, reading, I don't know, my brain goes off on tangents all by itself, and don't understand that. I used to read a lot, but it's just a struggle now. So anyway, but yeah, God gives me what I need to do, and if I do it, it's wonderful. The people I've met around the world because of this podcast, and I have to thank Crystal out in California, who is my coach, that suggested this, 3.5 years ago, because I had never thought about doing a podcast. and I was apprehensive to even start it. But I am so glad that she suggested it, because it wasn't long after maybe the first 10 episodes I knew this was what I wanted to do, and I still want to do more things because God said He wants me to be prominent on the world stage, which I'm thinking that's probably this, social media, podcast, whatever else, and so you just never know what God's got in mind, for you, what you're going to do. Um, it's been today, like I said, it's been the people that I've come across that, and there is no such thing as coincidence. You always meet people. It's always planned. There's always a reason you meet somebody, and I would have never thought. I always thought it's coincidences, and there is no such thing. So yeah, when God gets in your life, life changes. It changes, I think, for the so much better, and the people that I want to glorify God. I mean, I want to I want to give Him credit for what He's doing, because He has helped out so many things. He and this whole thing of what He has put us through has showed us Cheryl and I, how many people are got our backs, and that's worth a lot. That's worth a lot, and yeah, and actually how to do other things that we would have never known how to do, if it hadn't been for what we've been through, the trials and tribulations. So in the end, I think you look at trials and tribulations most time, as a gift. There will be times that I think you wouldn't, but I mean, when Cheryl had her cancer back in 2015, 2016, if she hadn't made it, I would have probably thought that wasn't, but it would have made me grow. Not a great way, but still does growth. And but no, thankfully Cheryl is here. She's doing well with her all that. Um, but I want you to know that that is why I do what I do every day. Um, God tells me in the morning, and He tells me out through the day, and He's very ornery too. And like I've told people, it's like a loving father, a very ornery loving father. Only once has He really told me that He wished I hadn't done that, and He had asked me not to do it, and I did it anyway. But He was just like a concerned parent, and this fearful God I don't get. There's a lot of things I don't get in that are in the Bible and that are preached in churches. And I think that's one reason why God doesn't think churches are. He's not a big fan of churches, most churches, because He said He thinks they do more harm than good. Because He said they push people away because they're judging. You know, and I'm not going to get into all the stuff that that says you shouldn't do or should do or whatever. Um, but He's just like, they're not going to put up with you judging them. They're going to go away, and then God's children don't hear what He's really about. And it says not to judge, and I'm guilty of that. I'm very guilty of that, and I have to take a step back and say, no, I'm not supposed to judge. And I just That's another reason why I really haven't read the Bible, because the Bible is so different from the original. I know Cheryl and I were talking about all the Bible books of the Bible that had women that were not included, and it's like, so if that's not included, what else is not included, or what was put in there to control people? And so I'm just going to keep talking to God. He doesn't let you down, and when you are dealing with who's going to win the election, just know God's got it, or whatever else you're going through, because He does. Whatever trials and tribulations, when you're not knowing how to pay a bill, when you have cancer, when you have whatever it is, just give it to God, and pray. Praying is good, and just believe that your prayer will be answered. It may not be the way you think it will be, but it will be. And I just want to show the world the God that I know, and I would have. 2 years ago, I had never been in this space, and but this space I love, and like I said, it's comforting. Just don't believe the people. It's like, well, God's not real, or whatever. God's real. There's been too many things that have happened that, like bills get paid, or this person just happens to do this, or there's just too many things that happen. That have no other explanation. Like the people I cross paths with, because the timing is not likely you're going to cross paths with that. It would have to be God doing that. I mean, it may, but I cross paths with so many people every day that that it's just I just like, that was you, God, wasn't it? And I just smile, and can you tell I'm in a really happy place? I mean, and Cheryl and I are still going through stuff, but it's like, however it turns out, it'll turn out. And I believe God's got something better for us, and maybe He needs us in another place or doing something different. And yeah, and I can't believe I'm saying that, because otherwise, when we've been going through this, I would have been worried sick, and I would have tried to get another job. I would have gone, and the thing is, you get another job and you get another job, and you have no time to hear God. And I believe that's also another reason why people, when they're in a hurry, you're not hearing God. You're just in a hurry. You're in survival mode. And I believe that's one of the big problems in the United States, is we're just go anywhere. People are in such a hurry. I mean, it's like, hurry to get up to the next traffic light, and then floor it and up to the next traffic light. Or if I think if they put the speed limit at 110 mile an hour, people would still be speeding. And the thing is, I don't think most people realize why they're speeding, or why they're in a hurry. I think they're just so used to that flow that they just do it without even thinking about it. And that's bad, because you all, like I've said before many times, you hurry your way through life, and then you get to the end and you haven't lived your dreams, you haven't spent time with your family, you haven't done the stuff that really counts in this life, you haven't glorified God, and however that is. If you're wanting to go to church, more power to you. I don't want to judge. I just haven't found a church that I really. I would rather have somebody be around this picnic table, and have a church kind of like that, than have where we sing things on the wall in a church, and have some speakers are awesome, and I like the old hymnals. I really do like them better than today's music. It's probably because that's what I grew up with, but church is not for me. And that's another thing that God, he's bound determined I'm going to write a book, and he said that he wants me to become a world-renowned author. And I barely journal, and but he keeps saying, so when you're starting? And it's interesting, because especially in the last day, I've had two people that are going to be on the podcast. That this Dr. Gina, who will be on the podcast soon. She's written books and how to do it, and it's just like, she put everything into, and she ended up creating a bot, which I have to look more into that, and everything. And like she said, everything you've done with podcasts could be in there, transcribed and put in there, and then have AI kind of write you a book. And I do think AI is good there, because I think a lot of books wouldn't get written if it weren't for that. And like she said, she has her stuff done that way, but then she makes sure it's correct and puts her personality in there. And I do think that that's a potential plus. So, like anything, AI's got pluses and minuses. I'm still out on that one. It can do amazing things, but yeah, God, He keeps putting things in the way to get me to start writing, and maybe I'll enjoy it. It's not. I will enjoy it. I'm not going to say maybe. If I'm doing it, I will enjoy it. It might be the thing that I've been missing, for a long time. Until you do it, you really don't know. Just like with the podcasting, I didn't think I'd like this at all. And the thing is, I'm so glad I did, because I would have missed all these years and all the people I've met along the way, and all the experiences, because I have had a lot of experience with the people, and going to locations where they're either work or home, or doing it online from New Zealand or whatever. So don't dismiss anything either, because I have a problem with that too. Or I think I can't do it. It's like, well, everybody's doing it. Who's going to read my book? Who's going to listen to my podcast? Who's going to, we always have those excuses. This limiting mindset is what it's called. And I suffer from that. I still suffer from that, even when I realize that's what it is. But you just have to become aware of it and say, no, I'm going to do this. I can do it, even if I was 100, whatever. If you're still able, you can still catch your dreams. You can still do that, especially with today's technology. So on that. But yeah, God's here, and that's one thing they said. They're coming back and all this other stuff. It's like, no, God is working. He's all that stuff. He's, coming back. And I was watching the thing how he's going to come back, and he's not going to be nice like he was last time, and he's going to be, taking names and kicking butts, and basically, and it's like that isn't what I have dealt with or learned from him. Um, he's working through people like me and many other people that I can see that it's God, trying to correct, especially the United States and other countries. But we have gotten so far off track in this country, and he's trying. I mean, he may eventually, if it isn't successful, he may do that. But he is trying, as a loving God, as a loving parent would do, to correct his children. And I think anybody who's had children that were off track or going the wrong direction know exactly what I'm talking about. Cheryl and I have never been able to do that because we've never had children, but if you have had children and you know what I'm talking about. So you would do anything to before it got to the point where you would do the extreme. So yeah, I that's another thing. I just don't find the God being fearful. I'm not fearful of the God. I just love hearing from him daily. It's like, what are we going to do today, and how are we going to make a difference? And like I said, when you do what God wants you to do, life gets real good. So on that, I'm going to enjoy this amazing day. I can't believe I'm outside in Nebraska in November. I mean, it's just actually there's still roses blooming over there. This place, if you ever get to Kearney, Nebraska, which is along Interstate 80, take some time to stop. It is amazing, and this was donated by this family, Yanni, and what a legacy to live, what a legacy to leave, and because it's just I'm in awe every time I'm out here, and yeah. So if you're ever going through Nebraska and because you would go through Kearney, and it's just right off the interstate. In fact, I can almost see the interstate from here. Yeah, it is an amazing place. You won't be disappointed. So on that, I'm gonna let you go. But just know God's got it. God's got it, and don't worry about who's president. Don't worry. Worry is not from God. Worry is from the other side, and I have to tell myself that too. So. On that, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Dreamcatcher podcast. And until next time, take care. Bye.